So, hi, Dr. Andreas Anastasiou. I'm very glad to have you here today. How are you doing?
I'm good. It's great to be here. Nice to see you.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I'm going to say a few words about what you do.
Sure.
So we can set the foundation.
Mm-hmm.
So Dr. Andreas Anastasiou is a psychologist and an associate professor of psychology at the University of Nicosia. He holds a PhD in counselling psychology from the University of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, USA. Could you talk to us a bit about what you do?
How much time do we have?
We have about, let's say, 40 minutes.
Sure. So I was just joking. Well, one of the reasons why I got into psychology is because I have a lot of interests. I'm interested in so many things. And psychology, being the study of human behavior and mental processes, essentially enable me to integrate everything, all my interests into my work as a psychologist. And throughout my career as a psychologist, I teach at the University of Nicosia. I taught in the United States at the University of Pittsburgh and also at Mary Baldwin University. So I teach. I also, my research interests revolving around conflict resolution and empathy and compassion. Also did mediation and still do mediation. And also I do more of the traditional work of a psychologist, which means seeing people with challenges in their life. I see couples, sometimes families, individuals, with a whole variety of diagnostic categories. In addition to that, as a psychologist, I also act as a consultant to many businesses, organizations, do a lot of seminars. I can say that I'm very privileged.
That sounds fascinating.
I do things that I absolutely enjoy.
That's very good. So if anyone out there is listening to us and is thinking about psychology, he should go for it.
Whoever is listening to us, I think it will be important to explore what he or she wants.
I agree.
It's very important to explore what we want to do before making a commitment to anything, and even that commitment must not be very absolute, and really get everyone else out of our head before deciding what do I want to study in my life, or in also many other levels. What kind of relationship do I want to be in? What are my religious beliefs? What are my political beliefs? It's very important for our exploration to be an individual journey, as opposed to make a commitment based on what other people want.
How do you do that? How do you keep everybody else's opinions away? Because we're so interconnected, family and friends, and when somebody says something, you take it into heart.
Well, again, that's part of the journey. Part of the journey. But unless we're able to do that, we're going to reach a point in our life where our identity is going to be, and again, I'm thinking of a very theory I like a lot, our identity is going to be foreclosed. I make a commitment with no exploration. And indeed, the commitment that I'm making, either to a relationship or to an occupation, might be the absolute best one for me, but I might not be fulfilled because what's lacking is the exploration, the journey. And that's a very individual journey. Now, it's not like we're going to reject everything that our family is saying or other people are saying to us. We're going to take that into account. But ultimately, we have to determine, is this me? Am I living a life that is consistent with who I am? Or am I living a life that other people want me to live? Okay. And if we do that, then we're going to live a life typically from which we want to escape. And we don't want to do that.
Steve, what's the theory you were referring to?
James Marcia's theory of 4 statuses of identity. It's a very nice way of conceptualizing where we are in terms of our identity.
Is there a book, is there a book you can read on it?
Oh yeah, you can you can just Google James Marcia, and there is a lot written on that.
Okay, So I'd like to ask, who is therapy for, and when should somebody?
Therapy is essentially for everyone. And in some ways, we all experience therapy in all sorts of ways. Essentially, if we have a good listener in our life, even that person might not be a psychologist, it's a form of therapy. Okay, a psychologist is trained how to listen to someone, give empathic responses to someone, make a diagnosis about what challenges someone is going through. But essentially, we need to go to therapy when we feel like, I don't know how this is going to sound, but I'm going to say the way that I'm thinking about it. When people are no longer comfortable in the familiarity of the discomfort, if that makes sense.
Ooh, could we break that down a bit?
Sure. It's the idea that I'm living a life that is not really fulfilling. I'm not feeling great, but there is comfort in the familiarity of not feeling very well. I'm not feeling very well, but I'm used to it. And every so often there are some spikes. My team might score a goal and my team wins and it's great, or I might go out with my friends and have a good time. So I have some spikes of feeling good. But ultimately, there are a lot of things that are not really right in my life, but I'm used to them. Okay, that is when we have that feeling of I want to escape my life, and I'm waiting for the weekend to do things, or I need to go on vacation to recharge my batteries. We should not be living a life where we need to escape from. Okay, every day should be a day where we get up and we're always happy to go. Let me put it a bit differently. One way in which I conceptualize life and or my clients or my own life as well. I always think that we must always be happy to go wherever it is we're going. I get up in the morning, I'm happy to go to work. I finish work, I'm happy to go home. I'm happy to go on vacation, on holiday. I'm happy coming back from vacation. I'm happy going back to my routine. I'm happy going out. I'm happy going to this house and the other house and to this friend. Whenever I go somewhere and I'm not happy going, I need to look at it.
I've got a few questions now.
Sure.
How many people do actually have this type of lifestyle that you just described?
I would say the majority.
The majority?
Yeah. I think it has become much more normative. So normal might not necessarily be healthy. Okay. So I think that we have reached a point at which you don't want to be normal, because normal is the most common thing that we see, the most commonly occurring behavior. And I believe that normal is not healthy. We don't want to be normal.
And I got a follow-up question to that. Like, when you said happy, what do you mean when someone's happy? I know this is a bit going philosophical question, but
having a good feeling going somewhere, having a good spirit going somewhere, as nebulous as that might sound. Feeling good about where you're going. It could be a sense of excitement. It could be as opposed to going somewhere that drags you down.
Yeah.
That's why I think it's very important for us to use how we feel as an instrument of assessment of our life, but also of the other. Okay, so after an interaction with someone else, how do I feel? Do I leave that interaction and I feel good? I feel, wow, it was very nice. Yesterday I spent some time with a really, really good friend, and I left and I was feeling really good. Yeah, it was good. We had a meeting, then we swam together.
Yeah.
Then we had a meal together, although he only had water, but I forgave him. I left and I was feeling really good.
So it's this experiential learning that you said before, that you have this experience, you feel good with someone, and then you redo that again.
Yeah, of course. Or if we have people who are very toxic in our life, okay, what role and how much access do I want to give those people to my life?
This is putting boundaries to people is something that people do fight a lot with, because you don't want to come out as the bad person, but you have to put some boundaries.
There's a difference between putting healthy boundaries and building walls.
Okay.
All right.
I'm listening.
We don't want to build walls around us. And a lot of people confuse that. And as a psychologist, many times when I have clients, we talk about that and we explore what does it mean for you to have healthy boundaries with someone without building walls, without alienating other people. Okay, but that is a very individual exploration that we delve into.
Do you think that sometimes we have to build walls for any reason? Let's say someone's toxic in our life, and we can't move on.
Let me put it a bit differently. We cannot do all the work to sustain a relationship, and if a relationship is very toxic to us, I always say I refuse to interact on unhealthy terms with anybody. Mm-hmm. Okay, and unless the other person is also willing to do his or her own work to have a good, healthy relationship, I cannot bear the burden of sustaining a relationship, whether it is a romantic relationship or whether it is a friendship. I can't do that.
And I'm guessing you do see a lot of couples for therapy as well. Mm-hmm. Why are the divorce rates so high? This is something that's always troubled me. Like, is love so difficult to find and to sustain?
I think one of the most loving things you can say to someone is, I can live without you. Wow. I think that's one of the most loving things that you can say to someone.
Okay, I want an explanation though.
Well, it's the idea that I'm not expecting you to come and rescue me from my issues. Okay, I'm good. I'm happy to begin with. And I choose to be with you. With you, I'm going to be happier. But I don't give you the burden of making me happy. Okay? And if I say to someone, oh, I can't live without you, she might feel really good. Oh my God, I'm really important to him. I said, no, run away. Okay. No, the other thing is that if you are someone who needs to be needed, who has a pathological need to be needed in a relationship, I'm not your guy. Okay, because you might want me not to be well, to be down, to need you so that you will feel more secure in the relationship. Okay, I'm talking in semi-general terms, but these are very issues that I think lead to divorces. The other issues that lead to breakups is constant criticism within a relationship. Okay, people getting together too young without really exploring what they want in a relationship. And my other philosophy when it comes to relationships is I don't believe in compromise. Okay. In other words, well, I mean, you can compromise. Okay, what shall we eat today? Okay, you want chopped brains with eggs, and I want I don't know. Souvlaki, okay, we can compromise that. Or you want to go today, you want to watch The Exorcist, and I want to watch Bambi. Fine, I'll compromise. I'll watch The Exorcist with you, just as long as you're holding my hand, because I'm going to be scared. These are things we compromise on, the peripheral things. Okay, but even in those, both people have to compromise on. But what are the things that I absolutely need to have in a relationship, and what are things that I absolutely do not want in a relationship? Because if I compromise on those, I'm going to be lonely in the relationship. Those are the things that you don't compromise on. Okay.
And this,
I don't know if I'm making any sense.
No, you are. I think there's a part of this which relates to me being myself and not trying to become the other person, or the other person wanting me to become who they are.
I'm going to say that a bit differently.
Okay,
you need to be in a relationship where the other person celebrates you and you celebrate the other person.
And you can be yourself.
Of course. Not only you can be yourself, you are encouraged to be yourself. And you are free enough not to be possessive of the other person. Okay, and we become possessive in all sorts of ways. Okay, there's a lot of sexism in relationships. A lot of sexism. Okay.
Usually from which side?
Well, usually the man, I mean, institutional sexism.
Usually
okay, you need
man.
to change your name. You need to, do A, B, C. That is why, in terms of women, we always talk about the second shift. Okay, the second shift. I finish work, then I go home, and I'm also responsible for work home. We use sexist language all the time that affects the couple, but they're not really aware of what is affecting them. For example, in Cyprus, we say, "Oh, he's such a nice guy. He helps at home, and he babysits his kids." I mean, what do you mean he helps at home? We never say that for a woman. She's such a nice woman. He helps at home. She helps at home with the kids, and she also knows how to do laundry. Wow, she's really good. She helps her husband. We don't really think like that, as opposed to saying, "Oh, you know what? He's doing his part."
It's because what you said before, the normal, it's the wrong.
Yeah.
Because he's not like the normal. Let's celebrate that. Oh, he's a bit.
Well, that is why the couple have to explore who they are, their identity as the entity called us. Who are we? And in exploring who we are, we need to get everybody else out.
Mm-hmm.
In-laws, outlaws,
person.
cats, dogs, uncles, aunts, friends, get everyone else out, explore who we are as a couple, and then decide what role other important but peripheral people are going to have in our life. Mm-hmm. Okay. Unless we're able to do that, we'll be going to bed, and in between us, there will be in-laws, outlaws, you name it.
I've heard I was advised this once that whenever you go to bed, you should never leave something unresolved with your significant other. Mm-hmm. Never sleep on it. Mm-hmm. Does that?
It's very important to know how the person you're with operates. Okay. You might go to bed with things unresolved. You might want to resolve them here and now. But the other person might need some more time to heal, some more time to think before addressing issues. So I wouldn't say there is one way of doing things. The key, I think, is to know how the other person operates. Okay. And to do that, what keeps a relationship together is empathy. Unless we have empathy in a relationship, we will feel very lonely in a relationship.
What's the difference between empathy and compassion?
They're very similar. Empathy is a very we have three types of empathy. Okay, emotional empathy, the ability to feel for the other side. We have cognitive empathy, the ability to understand the other side, and we also have behavioral empathy. If I feel for you and understand you, what am I going to do with it? Okay. It's the idea of, you're in a relationship. It could be sexual, any kind of relationship. It could be friendship. It could be a parent-child. It could be brothers, siblings. It could be co-workers, anybody. But especially in romantic relationships, whenever you're talking to someone, you're thinking that this guy gets me and understands me. Immediately you relax. You don't fight to make yourself heard. Okay, so that is why empathy is what keeps the relationship together. It's a glue of the relationship. But it's in relationships there are actually three entities. There is a one person, the other person. The third entity is the relationship in itself. The best way to take care of it is with empathy, when both people are able to feel for the other side, understand the other side, and do things to make the life of the other better. But you cannot have only one person doing all the work to sustain the relationship. It has to be reciprocal. Otherwise, one person the one person that does all the work eventually will get drained and don't have anything more to put in their relationship.
Okay. And like to just clear this out, we're not just talking about relationships between, we're talking about friendships as well.
Yes, of course. But this is especially important in romantic relationships.
In romantic relationships.
Yeah, but these principles can apply to any kind of relationship.
Yeah. I think it's an important thing, relationships. And it's one thing that if you put time to it, it will never go wasted. If you put time to relationships and build relationships and long-lasting relationships, it's one of the things that are really important in life. Like from my
Sure.
very limited experience.
Absolutely. Well, that's why it's important to give relationships the benefit of time. Get to know the other person, then get to know if any red flags come up, pay attention to them. Don't reject that person immediately, but pay attention to any red flags that come up. And I think it's very important for people ignore those red flags typically because they want immediate intimacy. I want the relationship and I want it now. Could be because other people have relationships.
And they have that intimacy, and I want that now.
Yeah, and I feel left out, and I wanna be in a relationship as well because other people are in a relationship. Also, many times, especially I would say in the case of women, they might have pressure to get into a relationship because, well, you're reaching a certain age and you need to be in a relationship, and your biological clock is ticking.
Yeah.
Okay. So they might push themselves to get into a relationship when they're not ready. The other thing that happens is that women that are in not fulfilling relationships, even with a nice guy, but he's not the right one for them. They want to exit. Okay, and they just don't feel good. But people will come and tell them, "Well, what's your problem? I mean, he's not a gambler. He's not a womanizer. Okay. He doesn't, he's not an alcoholic. He goes to work. He comes home every day. What more do you want? Yay. I'm so lucky. My husband is not a womanizer. He's not a gambler and he's not an alcoholic. I am so happy." That is why many times when I work with that population, I one of the things that I always say to that profile, that woman is, you know what? You're very low maintenance. You need to be higher maintenance. You cannot be so low maintenance. Okay, and I think there is a lot of sexism when it comes to that in particular.
No, I agree. It's not just not having the negatives and being neutral as a spouse.
Absolutely.
It's having the positives as well. So you can, as you said before, celebrate life together with the other significant person.
Celebrate the other, celebrate life, make a meaningful commitment, have routines, things that we both enjoy doing. Become like the other. Be secure enough to allow your identity to grow and flourish by becoming a little bit like the other, vice versa.
How much? This is something that I've been thinking about. How much should you allow yourself, or when should you allow yourself to become like the other? Because you have to keep your identity as well. As we said before, you have to be your own person, but grow together with the other person.
It's something you're going to do gradually. That's why we need to give any relationship the benefit of time for the relationship to grow and flourish. And if any issues come up, we need to address them. We need to agree that if at any point we take each other for granted, we're going to talk about it. And I will be receptive to the conversation.
When we talk to someone, could we talk a bit about active listening? And this is something that I think... Of course. Active listening.
What does that mean? What does it mean for you to listen to the other, to communicate with the other? Okay, but am I a good listener to my wife? Okay, what's it like for my wife to have me as a husband? What's it like for my kids to have me as a dad? Okay, these are questions that they are self-reflective questions. And to have a successful relationship, we have to be self-reflective and really understand, how do I affect the other? Okay, and I take responsibility for how I am. And I don't say, "Oh, you made me do that." I'm a very nice guy. I don't really get mad. But when you do that, of course I get mad. So it's not really, you're the one who's making me do that.
Criticism.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
As you said before, it's something that destroys your relationships. Criticism.
Yeah, it's up there. Criticism is the exact opposite of empathy. Am I aware of how my words affect you? But I'm saying that for your own good. And I'm so forceful that I make you have self-doubt.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because and I'll tell you the cliche that the culture is going to say, I'm saying this for your own good. Okay. You need to listen to me. No, I need to listen to you. I don't have control over someone else, whether someone else is listening to me. I have control whether I am listening to the other. So, as Gandhi said, I need to be the change that I want to see in the other. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Wow. We've got some time.
About 10 minutes.
Another 10 minutes? Yeah. No problem. I want to talk a bit about mental health. Mm-hmm. Now, during the pandemic, it's something that troubles a lot of young people as well. Mm-hmm. What do you advise them to do? Yeah.
That's a very, very big
question.
Very big question. I would say make sure that you have a good listener in your life where you can share how you're feeling. If you have more anxiety, it's much more normal than not. I saw this study a few months ago. And this was conducted in the United States, but I think we can apply it worldwide. The rates of depression and anxiety disorders has tripled. Okay. Wow. So I would say have good listeners in your life. Don't let anyone tell you how to feel, but talk to people who will acknowledge your feelings as opposed to tell you, don't stress out. It's okay. It's going to pass. Or there is so much worse things out there. Whenever we do that, essentially we are giving someone the formula of how not to feel. Okay. It's okay to say to someone, tell me a bit more about how you're feeling. I want to hear more about that. Okay. As opposed to being dismissive of their feelings. Very important to have a good listener in our life. I would say don't keep away from social media.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah. Keep away from social media. People who spend a lot of time on social media are more likely to have depression, anxiety, or an eating disorder.
Mm-hmm. And that's backed up by research.
Of course. Yeah, there is a lot of that. Exercise. Whenever we exercise does really good things for our body and our brain. There is a secretion of serotonin, feel better. It's an antidepressant neurotransmitter. GABA, that sends inhibitory signals throughout the cortex and we relax. Mm-hmm. Endorphins that give us a high. And at night when we go to bed, there is a secretion of melatonin that helps us go to bed easier and the quality of our sleep is better. Okay, so we need to exercise. I don't like the term social distancing. I prefer the term physical distancing. Okay, or we want emotional closeness now.
Yes,
not social closeness, emotional closeness, not distancing. It's very easy to say, be optimistic, but it's very important, I think, to make a conscious effort to have more of a positive spirit. I dare to say, act as if, we're going to get through this, and we will get through this. Okay, stay in the present, focus on our relationships, and the danger of sounding very, cliche and maybe hyper optimistic. We are going to get through this. There's no doubt about it. Okay, but keep away, I would say, from social media.
This is amazing feedback.
Detox from screens. I think that's a plague of the 21st century.
I've heard about this thing, intermittent fasting, when they do, you don't eat, let's say, a meal and then you eat 2 meals afterwards. So you don't eat breakfast, let's say. Mm-hmm. And it's really good for your health and metabolism, etc. Mm-hmm. I've heard intermittent fasting with screens. So you don't see any screens, let's say, until 11 a.m. And then after that, you've got a window until, let's say, 8 p.m. And then after that, you close them. And you're not allowed to open any screens. Like, you do detox.
I think that would be very good. But the other thing that I think is would be very important is to find other activities that don't involve screens. Mm-hmm. Okay, because unfortunately, because of addiction to screens, people go through withdrawal symptoms.
Wow.
If they don't, if I don't look at my phone, if I don't check out my social media, or if I don't check my email, or I get anxious. We see this in kids.
Yeah.
Okay, so we need to start, and I think one of the worst things to do is come and impose something on a kid or an adult, as opposed to find something else that is even more pleasurable. Okay, to occupy them. Otherwise, they will experience it as oppressive. Now, as parents, as a dad of two 11-year-old twin boys who love their screens like everyone else, sometimes I have to impose limits. But those limits we impose after talking to them. I want them to listen to me, not obey me. Okay, there is a difference between listening to me and obeying me. I don't want them to obey me because I'm the authority in the house. It's like jawohl, Herr Kommandant. No.
Yeah.
It's very important for us parents to be good listeners to our kids. Give them our arguments. We're going to listen to them, and then we will impose the limit, but allow them to move freely within those limits. Very important to do with kids.
I understand. Okay, so to wrap this up, we'll do some rapid fire questions.
Sure.
If you're up for it. So, who do you admire?
Who do I admire?
Yeah.
Oh God. I admire people who are kind. Yeah, I admire people who are kind, who are compassionate. I wouldn't say there is this person that although I very much do like Gandhi, Martin Luther King, people who are into non-violence. Those are the people that I admire the most. People who are not narcissistic.
Hard to come by these days.
It's narcissism, I think, is a plague.
Yeah. So, what is the most important thing to you in life?
For me,
yeah,
this might sound very cliche, but it's my wife and my kids. I love being around them. It's a fantastic thing. I look forward to going and seeing them every day. When I'm done with work, I love going there and spending time with them.
That's an amazing thing.
And I admire all of them. I admire my wife. I admire my kids. And it's fun.
Yeah.
It's a highlight of my day, actually.
That's amazing. It's an amazing feeling. What favorite book?
Favorite book? Oh God, I have a lot of favorite books.
You can say 2, 3.
A book that I like a lot, written by Desmond Tutu. It's called God is Not a Christian and Other Provocations.
Okay.
Yeah, it's.
I'll note it down.
Yeah, it's a very interesting book, and I think it's very important for Christians to read that book. Essentially, the whole premise of the book is that we Christians have taken God, shrunk him into a very small box.
Yeah.
And if you don't believe in God exactly the way that I'm telling you to believe, then it's the idea of God is much bigger than us.
Yeah. Favorite movie?
Oh, man, I am. I love so many movies. I'm a Star Wars kind of guy.
Yeah.
Ordinary People is a fantastic movie.
I haven't seen that one.
It's a fantastic movie. Cinema Paradiso is a fantastic movie. I mean, there are many movies that I like.
Great. Okay. And let's end with a last question. What advice would you give to your younger self? To your younger self?
My younger self?
Yes.
It's very hard to answer that question. What advice would I give to my younger self? It's the same advice that I think I would give to any other adolescent. Really explore before making a commitment to anything. Explore your identity and explore. I would say what it means to be true to yourself in isolation of other people. It's a very, very individual journey, and don't let anybody tell you who you are. Don't let anybody dump an identity on you. Okay.
That's amazing.
Also, you know what? Have fun. Do things that you enjoy, and have sense of, am I getting too far in my exploration? Is my exploration should not be reckless. Okay. And I would also say give time in terms of relationships. Give yourself the benefit of time and make commitment be the result of a relationship, not the beginning. And also to younger people, it's okay. I hope that everybody has the experience of rejecting and be rejected in relationships.
Yeah.
That is also part of exploration. So,
part of the journey.
Part of the journey, yes. Yeah. Well, I can talk a lot about that, but in a nutshell, I think this is what I want to say.
I think that's you send out a hopeful message, very positive conversation.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. I had a lot of fun. It was great. It was great to do this with you.
That's amazing. All the best.
Thank you. May the force be with you.
May the force be with you.